Hello, my name is Retro Gaming Goose, and I'm here to tell you what the best SNES game is. Now, there's so many great titles on the SNES. You've got such games like you've got Zelda, Link to the Past. You've also got the Super Mario World games, which I've just done a speed run on one of my live streams. Also, Super Mario All Stars was an absolute cracking game when that came out, and we've also got Super Metroid. That's great. But the best game, these are all fantastic games, and I'd just like to also point out that this is just my personal opinion, but the best game to ever be released on the Super Nintendo, and I'm so happy that I've got a boxed copy of this, is 1995's Super Mario Yoshi's Island. This game is incredible, and this is why.
So the game starts off with this lovely sort of intro where you see all of the different Yoshis that you get to play as throughout the game. And unlike Super Mario World 1, you actually get a lot of sort of background story and a mission as to what you're doing and what your objectives are. This is a bit of a departure from the previous Super Mario games where it is literally just get to the end, defeat Bowser. The main story of this game is that you're trying to unite Baby Mario with Baby Luigi, and each of the Yoshis take it upon themselves to try and reunite the babies together. Now the Yoshis sort of do this in a sort of relay race style where they're constantly passing the Baby Mario between each of the other coloured Yoshis. And the first thing that should really stand out to you in this game is the art style. The art style for Yoshi's Island is incredible. It has this sort of like cartoony, sort of hand-drawn-esque style to it, and it's just incredible. It looks so good and holds up so well. This game was developed over a 4-year period and was released in 1995, and you can really tell that a lot of time has gone into making this game. Now this is the overworld where you can see that sort of relay race style that I was saying, like each map or each level has a different coloured Yoshi that you take on, which the Yoshis pass the Baby Mario between each other, which sort of happens at the end of the level. And the controls to this game are so good. It's got such this like feeling of just pick up and play. Like anyone can just work out the controls. Everything that like if you want to learn how to jump, it just feels natural, and the control scheme is really thought out. It's definitely one of them sort of like easy to pick up and play, hard to master sort of games with the control scheme. And each level is absolutely brimming with secrets and sort of hidden areas that you can explore. And that's one thing the levels do really well as opposed to the other Super Mario games, is that there's so much opportunity to explore and to find new areas and new secrets. For example, this pipe just takes you to a secret area to get more red coins. Now each level has a certain amount of collectibles that you need to get 100% a level. There are, I think, 5 or 6 sunflowers that you need to get, and also there are 20 red coins, and you have to finish each level with 30 stars of time, like the timers that you have for when you lose Super Mario. Already, compared to other Mario games, there are so many more mechanics that you've got to sort of bear in mind. And not only that as well, it's not just a normal platformer game where you're jumping on enemies to kill them. You have your sort of like tongue attack to like turn them into eggs, and you can also throw eggs at people, which is, so you have like a ranged attack as compared to like other Mario games where you don't really get the ranged attack unless you have the sort of the flower power up. And another thing that really stands out to me when I play this game is the sound of the game. Bear in mind this is an SNES game. They're just incredible. Like the music is so well put together. The sound effects of Yoshi and just the different items that you use, they just all sound so good. And the main reason for that is that this game really sort of used the FX2 chip. Now, for people that don't know, that chip was developed by the people the development team that made Star Fox on the original SNES, and it really utilized sort of like 3D graphics. Except for in this game, it didn't use 3D graphics. It wasn't used for 3D graphics. Instead, it was used for sort of amplifying the overall sort of sound quality of the game, as well as this amazing art style that you've got here. Now, the actual development of this game is a little bit strange. After Yoshi's debut in 1990's Super Mario World, Shigeru Miyamoto asked Yoshi's designer, Shigefumi Hino, I do apologise for any sort of mispronunciation there, to develop an original project. And after several months of brainstorming, Hino landed on the idea of using Yoshi as the main character, with the goal of making this Mario game more accessible than previous ones. And I think that really comes across in the gameplay. So when you look at this game now, like I said, it's a very easy game to control. Like, the controls feel so good when you use them, and the lack of a heads-up display really sort of like adds to the simplicity of this game. No longer do you have sort of a time limit on each level to try and complete the level as quick as possible, and you can really spend a lot of time just exploring levels, finding secrets, and just doing whatever you want in each one of these levels. And I think it adds so much to it. It gives it almost like that Legend of Zelda vibe, where you have time to just sort of like look, find secrets, find hidden things, and it's just so fun. That's the other thing I have to say. I have to really emphasize how fun these games are and how good they are to play. In terms of how Yoshi controls himself, it makes it a lot easier to sort of like control than Mario does, because he can add this sort of extra little sort of hover in the air when you do these jumps, which I think you just saw a little bit there. And it just adds so much more as well to the control of the game. Now, at the end of each level, you kind of just see Yoshi yeet Baby Mario onto the next Yoshi in that relay race style that I was talking about previously. But one of the things this game does really well is that Yoshi has the ability to just morph into vehicles, and it gives so much more to the game, to the exploration and just the gameplay. There's so many different types of vehicles that you have in this. I think you get a helicopter, you get a submarine, you get a car, you get like a weird or like digger mole, which is really fun to play with, and you just get so many more like ways to explore levels which you don't really see in like Super Mario World. And it just adds so much more. It took the foundations that you had of Super Mario World, which is one of the greatest games of all time, and it just added so much more and gave so much more things you can do, stuff to do, ways to play the game. And in also doing that, it made the controls easier, and it made the sort of the art style more fun. Now, at the end of each level, you do get this moment where when you jump through this ring just after Yoshi's yeeted Baby Mario, you get to have an opportunity to have a sort of like challenge level or bonus level where you can unlock loads more things. So if you jump into that sort of circle, if you've collected all the flowers in the level, then you get an opportunity to have a bonus round where you get to play these mini games. And now these mini games tend to be a little bit random depending on sort of the sort of the level that you're playing on. Now this one is just a standard like connect free sort of thing where you basically got to scratch out the cards. If you get the witch character, then it's game over, and you just you can unlock these items, and these are things that you can get and use throughout the game as well. So you've got like the fire melon, the normal melon, the ice melon, which all do different things and different power-ups. But one thing I really do want to talk about the most in Yoshi's Island is how good the boss battles are. Some of the bosses in this game are so fun. You always get this nice little introduction where you see sort of the standard enemy of the boss. So this is a boss, this is the mid boss of the first world. You get sort of like a standard introduction that the wizard woman comes in and says, oh yeah, she's gonna destroy you this time, definitely, Yoshi. And then you get the actual boss that it transforms into. Now some of these bosses are a little bit easy, but they're also really stupid. Like this one, to defeat this boss, you basically just have to hit them with an egg to the point where they lose their trousers and then they die of like embarrassment, I guess. But some of these bosses are so fun. Absolute standout bosses in the game is in, I think, World 3. The final boss of World 3 is a giant sort of like piranha plant. There's just like a mole that you have to fight on the moon at one point, and there's just great bosses everywhere. While with like Super Mario World, some of the bosses are very copy and replace, and it does start to repeat its own bosses. But this one, every single boss is unique, every single boss is different, and you have to fight them different ways. Admittedly, a lot of the time it is just hitting them with an egg in a different way, but it's still different as opposed to the sort of copy and paste bosses that you get in Super Mario World. And the bosses in this game have just the right amount of challenge to them. They're not too hard, they're not too sort of difficult. This is not Dark Souls, this is a platformer from 1995. And they're pretty fun. And that's the main thing I need to emphasize about this game. It's so fun. It's easily my favourite game to play on the SNES. And to this day, I think is the best NES game that there's ever been.
so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, as I'm going to be putting out as many, way more videos just like this one. And let me know in the comments below whether you agree with me or you disagree with me, or you have your own personal favourite SNES game. Please let me know. I'll happily discuss it with anyone in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.